One of the lies many founders unknowingly believe is this, that if my products are good enough, then people will eventually find me. But the markets, especially for skincare brand founders, the skincare market doesn't work that way anymore, right? Because today it's not enough for you to just have great products. For skincare brand, there are brands with amazing formulations, they have beautiful packaging, they have effective products, but they are still struggling financially. Not because the products are bad, but because not enough people see them consistently. All right. It is often said that it's not the best product that you sell, it is the best known product that people would buy. All right. So the most dangerous place for you to be as a skincare brand owner or as a brand founder in any other industry is to be invisible. Because an invisible brand, even with the good system, the right conversion system, you will still struggle to grow. Nobody will buy your products. You have the funnels, you have the email marketing, you have all of those things, but you are invisible. You're not bringing anybody into the funnel. All right. So you go bankrupt, you'll be broke, and you're not going to make any money. Meanwhile, a visible skincare brand, a brand everyone knows about, even with imperfect systems, they'll still generate revenue over and over. It may not be stable, it may not be predictable, but they're going to make money, right? Why? Because visibility is what would create opportunity. And that's something many founders don't fully understand. The visibility would create demand for your brand products. Visibility would give your brand authority, because it's the people that the people are seeing that they're going to defer to whenever they want to make any decision to buy or any decision to learn about their problems and the solutions to their problems. Visibility would create momentum for your brand. Why? Because you're already visible and your brand is making money. So you'll be able to do many things in your business. Your business will not stay stuck because there's no revenue. All right. So you have momentum in doing many other things. You have money to fund your marketing, money to do many logistics and everything that you need in your brand. And also it creates trust through repetition. The more people see your content, the more they will watch your content, the more you are visible, then they begin to trust your brand for any decision. Any advice you give would come off as an expert advice, because now they trust your brand because your brand has visibility. And of course, visibility gives your brand the opportunity to generate sales. Without visibility, you're not going to get any leads. All right. And without the leads, there are no customers. Without customers, there's no business to scale. So in today's episode, I want to break down how skincare brands actually grow revenue. And I'm going to show you why visibility matters so much. And of course, I'm going to show you why many brands remain unknown for years. And of course, how to turn visibility into predictable sales over the next 90 days. So the title of this episode is How to 3x your skincare revenue in 90 days. Now, the goal is not just getting attention. All right, I've talked about visibility, how important it is. The real goal is building visibility that converts consistently and make your revenue predictable. So let's get started right away. Now, one painful truth many skincare founders avoid is this, and is that a lot of skincare brands stay small because nobody sees them consistently. And it's not necessarily because the founder is lazy. The founder could be busy creating the products, branding the product, and all of that. All right. And it's not because the products themselves are ineffective. It's not because the market is saturated. The reason why these brands stay small is because the brand lacks sustained visibility. And when we talk about visibility, visibility is not just about posting once every 2 weeks. Visibility is repeated exposure. That means people repeatedly see you showing up every single time. And not just that you are showing up posting nonsense, but you are showing up and your content is relevant and relatable to what your audience actually needs. And because of that, they are going to remember your brand every time they want to buy that particular product, which is a vehicle for the solution to the problem that they have. And it's very simple. Customers rarely buy from brands that they don't remember. They only buy from brands that they remember. How will they remember you? Visibility. Now think about the brands you yourself personally trust. You've probably seen them repeatedly before you ever decided to buy. All right. You probably heard people talk about them, probably encountered their content multiple times. You thought about buying from them, but again, you forgot. And then you saw their content again, you remember, I need to buy this product. Maybe you didn't buy, but you saw their content again. So you've seen their content multiple times. You've watched them show up consistently. And that repetition, it causes familiarity between you and that brand. So when you got finally ready to buy the products, you bought the product from that brand that's become familiar to you, and familiarity created that trust. All right, that's the same thing that's going to happen between your audience and you when you build familiarity and trust through consistently showing up, through strong visibility. And this is exactly why many skincare brands stay unknown for years, because they are not visible. They are creating the best products. They're not thinking about how to take that product to the market, how to build strong visibility. All they do is be consistent for 1 week and then disappear for many other weeks. Run random campaigns. They thought, we are hungry, let's run campaign today, and then they stop the campaign, they're not running any campaign again. Or they stop marketing when sales slow down. Oh, sales are slow down, let's keep the money for sort out some other things, also sort out logistics, sort out other things. But when the sales slow down, that is the exact time where you need more marketing. That is the exact time where you need to push money into marketing to actually bring in more sales. If you spend that little money on some other things, then you've lost the money to markets, and then the sales will eventually comes to zero. And then those things that you wanted to protect, you eventually lose them. So this is the reason why many brands stay stuck. Many times they just rely on referrals, all right, and wait for customers to find them, wait for word of mouth. Word of mouth is great, but something must fuel that vehicle. Not just your great products, but also your visibility. And in today's market, attention is competitive. Your product is not the only product in the market that is effective. So if you want that your effective product to actually go out, compete in the market and win market share, then your brand must be the brand that is seen most consistently, and not just necessarily the brand with the best products in the market, because the market cannot buy what it really notices. The fact that you've shown up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times doesn't mean that people have seen you, even though they watch your content. There is a statistics, I think by Google, that people would notice you consciously when they've seen your content 11th time. After 11th time, then they realize, I've been seeing this guy's content every time. Let me even research what this person is about, what this brand is about. And that's after they watch your content over a period of 11 times. Imagine you watch it the first time, second time, third time. So knowing this, it gives you that consciousness that you have to show up consistently. There's no time for relapsing. You have to keep showing up and let people understand that you exist. Now, let me balance this. All right, I've talked about visibility, because while visibility is powerful, which you have to get visible as a brand owner, in the other sense, visibility alone is not the full game. All right, I emphasize visibility because it gives you the starting leverage. It gives you leverage in the market. It gets people to actually realize that you exist. And if you know how to fuel your visibility very well, your brand can emerge as the leader in the market. Now, many brands ironically begin to struggle after they finally start getting attention. All right, a brand may go viral or get influencer exposure, run out successfully, start getting traffic, but then they struggle to scale sustainably. The market already knows you. The market wants to crown you as the king, but somehow you could not maintain the steam. Somehow you could not scale. And a new brand that understands not just visibility, but how to scale with the visibility would come and then win your market share. You don't want that to happen, all right? And that would only happen, or that experience happens, because you must understand that visibility creates opportunity, but building the right system to capture that visibility and make sense of your visibility is what would help you maximize and sustain the opportunity that visibility is given to you. In essence, I'm saying visibility will get you paid, but building a structure would help you stay paid and to help you scale your revenue. And that is the real balance, because a visible skincare brand with weak systems, you can still generate revenue temporarily and you can make money and all of those things. But eventually, because of the weak system, customer retention becomes weak. All right. People want to complain about something in your business. There's no avenue with which they can complain. And if they complain, you're not responding to them. All right. You're only focusing on the first sale. Because of that, they're not going to come back again to buy from you, buy from your competitor. And because you have weak system, the conversion gaps begin to appear. The momentum begin to slow down. Customer acquisition will become more expensive and growth becomes inconsistent. So the second brand owner behind in the market can just come up and take over your spot because the person has a strong system with the visibility that that brand has. So the real goal is not just let me just have visibility or let me just build systems. The real goal is that you need visibility that we keep converting consistently. All right. Via the structure, the system also set in place to help you take full advantage of your visibility. And that is where sustainable scale actually happens. Hi, let me quickly say this. So if you are watching this and you already know that your skincare brand or any other brand that you're running right now should be doing more, but you are not sure about how to structure everything properly, well, that's exactly why we created the Digital Launchpad Accelerator. It is where we help brand owners like you turn attention into actual sales. It's where we help you build your clear growth system and scale more predictably. To get started and actually work with us, all you have to do is to go to pmi.ng/DLA or click the link in the description of this video and watch the video on that page to learn about how to work with us. Do that after you finished this episode. All right, go ahead and continue the episode. Now let's talk practically. How do skincare brands actually become visible? Because you've understood that you actually need visibility for you to actually make sales, and you need structure to make the sales predictable and consistent and to be able to scale. But the question is, okay, I want to be visible. How do I become visible? Is it something that is just come as a luck? Is it just random? No, visibility is not luck. And it's not random. Many brands actually, they remain invisible because their marketing lacks consistency and intentionality. You see, you have to be interested in your audience. So you're not creating content out of, I have to create content too, and then you just create anyhow content. No, you have to be interested in your audience and be consistent at that. So to become visible, several factors would all have to work together at the same time. Now, the number one is repeated exposure. The truth is that people rarely trust brands that they only see once. That's why consistency matters a lot. You have to have consistent content on your page. You have to publish content consistently. Now, you're not doing random posting and you're not just posting anyhow content. The content matters as much as its consistency. All right. The content itself would position you as an authority in your industry. The consistency of that content would give you the right exposure, all right, that you need. Then the market will remember your brand because they are repeatedly encountering your content. They're seeing your content over and over and over. And like I said, in Google's research, they found out that people would begin to notice that you exist when they have watched your content around 11 times, maybe in 4 different channels. All right, they've watched it on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Then it's dawns on them. I've been seeing this guy. Okay, who is he? I've been seeing this brand, this business. What are they about? It wasn't the first time that they're seeing you, but it's the first time that they're actually noticing and they're deciding, okay, they want to follow your journey and they want to actually see what you are about. So that means that repeated exposure is a must. All right, you have to have at least 11 content, barest minimum, and you be in as many channels as possible if you can, but at least 11 content on your page, barest minimum. Of course, you're not going to create just 11 contents. So I'm just saying, according to that research. The second factor that brings visibility is strong positioning. And positioning is all about how you are different from another brand. What makes it different from somebody else that is selling the same products that you are selling? Who are you and who are you actually reaching out to? You're not necessarily better than your competitor, but what makes you different that will make your audience actually prefer you over your competitor? Your brand should not sound like every other brand. Your content should not sound like every other content. When people watch your content, they should not be thinking of another brand. That means you are just a copy of that brand. When people watch your content, they should know this content is yours. They should know your voice. They should know that this voice is yours, this style is yours, everything is yours. So such that when they see somebody else create content like that, they should be remembering you because you've positioned yourself in such a way that they see you differently. They see your brand differently. They see the advantage or the difference your brand has to other brands, and they are drawn to the uniqueness and the peculiarity of your home brand. So positioning would help people understand who you actually help. Number one, it helps them understand who you are and then what you are giving to your audience. Of course, to your audience, meaning you must first define your audience so people would understand who you are helping, what makes you different, why your product matter and why they should care. This is what makes you different. Yeah, there are different beverages, there are different soft drinks, there is Coca-Cola, there is Pepsi, there is this and there is that. But when you watch their advertising, they position themselves differently from every other brand. They don't position themselves as the same as other brands of similar products. No, they make sure that they are speaking to their own particular audience, talking about why they are unique, why they are different. Not necessarily saying, I am the best, buy from me. No, you are saying, I am different. This is why I am different. And that is what positioning is. You are positioning yourself. This is who I am. This is where I stand. This is why you should buy from us. So the positioning is what will make your visibility strong. Without positioning, your visibility will be weak. Now, the third factor that work together to bring about visibility is the creative itself, what you're actually creating. All right, so I call it attention grabbing creatives. Attention is very expensive now, and if people give you their attention, they're already visible. All right, so you have to focus on the hooks. The hooks means the first sentence of your write-up, the first 3 seconds of your video, anything that will get people to stop scrolling. All right, so you need to work on your hooks, on your visuals. You need to work on the creative itself, the headlines, the messaging itself, the core messaging. The most important part of the content that will get them to stop scrolling actually is the hook, the headline, the first 3 seconds of the video, the first sentence of the written content. That is what will get them to stop scrolling and to actually keep reading. So you want to employ attention grabbing hooks, and you want to make sure the quality of the image is great and the quality of the video is great. And of course, the message itself, you want to make sure it is of high quality. The brands that are winning attention today, they understand that creativity drives visibility. Now, the fourth thing I'll talk about that brings visibility is actually educational content. Because when I talk about creating content, most people only know about creating promotional content that sell their products. So every content is come and buy. That is awesome. You should create promotional content, but you don't want all of your content should only focus on promotions. If it focuses only on promotions, people will already get used to the kind of content you are creating, such that if they are not ready to buy, they will not even bother about watching your content. They will just scroll up because they know that all you want to do is to sell to them. You have nothing to offer them than to sell to them. So you want to create educational content, and even in the educational content, you can still sell. All right. So that is why educational contents are great, because you are giving them value at the same time you're selling to them. And educational content is what will help you build authority. It will help you build trust because you are giving value to others. Now, I'm not saying you have to be teaching everything that is, if it's a course right now, everything is your course, you have to doing it via educational content. Or no, I'm saying content that give people insight about themselves, insight about their problems, insight about why they need to buy what they should buy from you. It builds authority, it builds trust, it builds credibility, and it increases retention. People actually want to look forward to your next content, so they learn about the kind of problem that they're having, or they learn about the products they've already bought, how to actually use it and get more result from it. And because of that, they will remain as customers. So you are going to retain them as customers because you are educating them. So you see why educational content are great, not just promotional content. And of course, educational content creates customer confidence. All right, so they know that you know what you are selling, and especially in skincare where customers actually want reassurance before buying. Educational content would give them that reassurance that they deeply want. And number 5 factor I'll mention about what would give you visibility is what many people actually may be running away from. Maybe they're creating content in the first place, but it's part of what you should deploy. And I call it intentional advertising, because advertising would amplify your visibility. God bless you if you have visibility even before you advertise. That is great. Not everybody would actually have that. All right. And even if you have that, now when you combine that with advertising, your visibility will spread. If you're already known in Nigeria with advertising, your visibility can spread to every other country. Right now, your ad would work best if your position is already strong. Right, if you've done the good job of factor 1 to factor 4, positioning is strong, your creatives are strong, your messaging connects emotionally, and the customer journey makes sense, then your ad is bound to actually give you better results to increase your visibility. Because in the first place, the purpose of ad is just to amplify what you already have. So if you already have done a good job in connecting all the factors of visibility together, then the ad would spread your visibility. So you want to make sure that you lay the foundation even before you run the ad and while you're running the ad, because the ad would not magically fix weak marketing. So you have to have laid those foundation. All right, repeated exposure, which is great, but more importantly, strong positioning. The repeated exposure is exposing all this that I'm talking about right now: strong positioning, great creatives and hooks, all right, great messaging. If you have that, then you repeatedly expose this kind of content to your audience, and you are building your visibility. Then run ads, and your visibility would spread like wildfire. All right, so ad would amplify what already exists. And the number 6 factor is authority and trust signals. If you are able to give up some authority signals like social proof, so you're not just creating content about your product, this is how to use the product, this is the problem this product solve, but can you show us who has used your product and the product actually worked for them? That is social proof. If you can show your customer result, testimonials, all of these positions you as authority in the niche, in the industry, and people would follow the words of others over your own words. All right, so if your customers are already giving testimonials about your product, people would believe your customers' testimonials than just believe what you say about your product, even though they don't know the customers. That's how human psychology works. So you want to be consistent at showing forth authority and trust signals like this. If you do that, then you're not just going to be visible, you are going to build influence. Is one thing to be visible, is one thing for your visibility to actually influence people into taking action. And what action do you want? Of course, for them to buy. All right, so you want to show authority signals, trust signals that people are actually buying from you. So those that are watching your content should make sure they buy right now, because you already have many people buying from you. And of course, the trust signals give you trust. Visibility without trust, you just have attention, but you're not converting anything. But visibility with trust would create revenue. Is that not what you want? You want revenue. So you want to show authority and trust signals even in your content. So now that I've shown you how to build visibility over a long period of time, because it's not something that will just happen in a day. It's something that would happen as you work on showing up every day and connecting all these 6 factors together. Then you're going to build visibility. Alright, now if everything I've shared in this video is making sense to you, and right now you are realizing what is missing in your brand, then the next step is very simple. Number 1, you can try to figure all of this out on your own and implement every lessons you've learned in this episode. Or number 2, you can have us help you implement it properly. And that's what the Digital Launchpad Accelerator is for. Here's where we work with a limited number of brands to actually fix what is not converting in their marketing system, to help them build a proper growth system, and to help them scale revenue within just 90 days. So if you are interested, there is a link below this video in the description, or on this video, there is a link where you can watch the full training and apply to work with us. Just go to pmi.ng/DNA. All right. Now let's wrap this up and finish the episode. Now that I've taken care of visibility, remember that the topic of this episode is about scaling your revenue, 3x your revenue, growing your skincare revenue. So let me simplify the entire growth process, how you can be able to scale your revenue. I've only touched on the first part of the process. Now there are 3 major things that really grow skincare revenue sustainably. And the number 1 part, which I have been showing over and over, is, of course, visibility. So people must discover your brand, because without visibility, of course, there's no traffic, and without traffic, there are no sales opportunities. So this is really important, especially if you are a new brand. No visibility means nobody will even hear your voice, nobody will know that you exist, and nobody will buy from you. So if you are a new brand, if you are a small brand, if you are a growing brand, you want to focus in the beginning majorly on visibility, and the visibility would create momentum. As you begin to pick up sales and you are showing up every single time, your sales will be increasing. Then you can use the money to do many other things and keep the business run the first step of 3x in your revenue or 10x in your revenue within 90 days as a skincare brand is visibility. And the second step that I'm going to talk about now is conversion. So this is when you want to turn your attention into much more revenue. Your attention must turn into buyers. You don't want just people to know that you exist. You don't just want attention. You want to ensure that this attention keeps bringing in revenue consistently. You don't want to go viral today, you make sales, and then for the next 5 days of the week, no sales are coming in. No, you want to build a system that would consistently bring in traffic and convert those traffic into buyers. All right, so you want to have your offer, you want to have your messaging, you want to have your position, you want to build funnels, you want to understand customer psychology. All right, all of these, they become critical in this second stage. You want to ensure that you work in the conversion process of your brand, because in reality, this is where you actually keep turning attention to revenue, and you can make it a system, not something that just happens once in a while or once in a week. It can be something that you can experience every day, because you have a system that turns traffic into customers. So that's the second stage. And the third stage of growing or scaling your revenue is what I call retention. You don't want to ever miss this. You don't want to be acquiring customers and be losing the customers, acquiring customers and be losing the customers. So it's as though you are resetting every single month. No. The more you do that, the more your customer acquisition cost will continue to increase, and you'll be making money. It will look like you are not actually making money. So you must make sure that your customers keep coming back. And to do this is where your email marketing is very important, to nurture your customers, for them to see that you exist, for them to see that these products exist, for them to realize, oh, their product will be used up in the next 1 week, they should start ordering for another product. All right, so you need email marketing. You need to understand the customer journey. How do they interact with your brand, with their product? When will they be done with the product? When would they need to order a new product? Is it every month, every 2 months, twice a month? You want to understand the customer journey with you. This is where repeat purchases comes into place. You want customer to keep buying from you. You must understand the lifetime value of the customer. Will a typical customer buy from you over a period of a year, 2 years, 3 years? Or is it just after the first sale, the customer is no longer buying from you? You don't want your business to run like that. So this is where you understand that community is very important. If you must retain your customers and ensure that they keep buying from you and you're able to scale your revenue, you must build a community. Now, depending on your business model, it could be a B2B, it could be a B2C. For a skincare brand selling skincare product or retail products, is a B2C. So building a community, a WhatsApp group, Telegram group, mastermind, or Facebook group, this is a community you can build. For a B2B, that means all your customers are businesses, all right, and they are competitors. So having an email list may be enough, but you can still have a WhatsApp group depending on your industry and your business model. So you want to have a community. This is where nurturing is important. You want to follow up. It's one thing to engage in email marketing. It's another thing to actually implement it and nurture your audience, nurture your customers, not just your leads. Many people focus on nurturing leads, and when they lead them to customer, they neglect the customers. You want to nurture your customers. You want to onboard them. When they buy the products, how are they onboarded? How do they feel after the purchase? This is what will determine whether they're going to stay and buy more, or whether they're going to have buyer remorse and then leave your ecosystem. So all of these, they matter heavily if you actually want to retain the customers and want to scale your revenue. So visibility, conversion, retention, these are very important. Retention will stabilize your growth, and many skincare brands focus on just one of these stages. Many of them focus on just visibility. Some brands have visibility, but they have poor conversion because they've not understood how to turn visibility into sales. And that is very sad. You have visibility, but you don't have influence. You cannot make these people to actually buy from you. Maybe you are teaching too much instead of educating them about their problem and letting them realize a need for a solution so that they can buy the product from you. Maybe you're actually teaching the solution to them. So it's bad for you to have visibility without great conversions. And some other brands, they have customers but poor retention. So they have visibility and they have conversions, but they're not retaining the customers. Their customers are leaving them because they've still not created that system that will retain the customers. And we have other brands, they have good products. They've even built a conversion system, but there is no visibility that will bring people to the conversion system in the first place. But if you want to be a scalable skincare brand, if you want to scale as a brand in other industry, you must intentionally combine all three: visibility, conversion, retention. That is how predictable revenue will be built in your business. So just in case you've not really grabbed what I'm saying, your goal should actually be to turn visibility into predictable revenue. And what will turn visibility into predictable revenue is actually building the conversion system and the retention system. Because in truth, visibility alone would only create opportunity for sales. All right. But the system would multiply the opportunity depending on how you build the system. So people's system is just conversion. All right. So they can come on Instagram, they create the content and they make offers, and then they give the account number and people buy even from that content. That's conversion. All right. Very simple, straightforward. I'll give you this, pay to this account, and that's conversion. And that is where it ends. But the conversion, even though it's great, would not be as much as when the conversion is actually systemized, such that you're not just converting, you're also retaining people. And to do that, to actually scale consistently, like I said, you need strong offers. You need intentional funnels, not just giving up your account number on your content and then people buy from you, which is great, but you also need to learn how to build funnels that will convert traffic into customers even when you are asleep. And aside funnels, you need lead nurturing. That is where your email marketing comes into place. You want to nurture your leads. You want to nurture your customers because you want to retain these customers. So aside lead nurturing, you need customer retention. You need non-stop creative testing so that you're able to keep running your ads and ensure that your ad is bringing out more revenue consistently. If you're able to do this, then you are going to scale. But if you don't do this, that's why some brands, they go viral once and then they disappear because they're not building a system around the conversion and the retention, while other brands, they grow steadily month after month. One brand rely only on attention, the other brands build systems around the attention. Now I get it. You might be wondering, I have been trying, I'm creating content and all of this, and maybe you're getting disappointed because you are not making as many sales as you want. I understand you, but this is not the time for you to get disappointed. This is time for you to show up and do the work. Yeah, what you need actually is momentum. And many founders underestimate the power of momentum. You don't necessarily need motivation. What you need is momentum. Momentum will change your confidence, execution, consistency, belief, decision making, and visibility would create that momentum that you need. If you're a new brand owner, you are a beginning brand owner, you don't have many customers yet, you want to put all your attention into ensuring you are visible. Go back and watch this episode from the middle of this episode and see how I explained the process or the steps, the factors that leads to visibility. Because when people begin to discover your brand, then more customers will buy from you and more conversations would happen and more orders would come in. As the orders come in, what happened to your confidence? It changes because the revenue will change how you actually begin to think. You're no longer thinking from the point of survivor. You are now thinking like a founder should think. You are moving like a founder should move. So this is why visibility matters so much early in your growth journey. So if you're a new brand owner, you need momentum. And that momentum will come when you begin to have visibility, which will lead to you making sales, which will lead to you actually doing what you need to do to actually build a system that would make the revenue predictable. So pursue visibility at the beginning of your entrepreneurship, and as you begin to grow, then build a system around the visibility. Now, my friend, this is exactly why I created a free training. It's actually called the Skincare 3X Revenue Growth System. And that's because many skincare founders are actually working hard, they're posting content, they're trying ads, using influencers, yet they don't have that momentum. They're feeling disappointed. They're struggling to scale consistently. That's if at all they're making sales. But inside this training, I break down exactly how to create visibility intentionally. I break down how to turn attention into revenue, how to structure your customer journey, and how scalable skincare brands actually grow predictably. Now, this is not surface level advice, it's a strategic breakdown of visibility, positioning, and measuring it in details, conversion, funnels, retention, scalable growth system. I even showed you how I did it for my skincare brand clients. And if you're serious about growing your own skincare brand over the next 90 days, you want to watch this free training. So all you have to do is to click the link below this video, anywhere around this video, or in the description of this video, and watch the free training right now. Because my friend, in reality, the goal is not necessarily to become visible alone. The goal is becoming visible profitably and predictably. If you enjoyed this episode, watch out for next week episode. Like this video, comment in this video. I'll read your comment and I'll reply if you have any question. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and share this video to your friends. See you next week in next week's episode.